Thank you all for being on this call. I am super excited to have everybody here. I can see that we have started the recording, so this is perfect. Let me go ahead and make sure everybody is muted, and we are good from there. A couple more there. All right. So, as you guys can see and heard about in the team page, I just got back from a seminar this weekend, a Brendon Burchard seminar, and I was able to go with my diamond coach, Tracy Farron, and another one of my coaches came as well, Deidre Grelliford, who's a phenomenal coach. I had asked Tracy weeks ago if she would be willing to kind of co-host this with me, but I'm sure that you guys will get to hear from Deidre as well, because I'm going to call on her after the fact to kind of make a video kind of sharing her takeaways from this as well and share it in the team page. So surprise on that one, Deidre. But I will tell you guys up front right away that doing seminars like this and investing in your own growth and in your own personal development is always worth it. So if you guys have, a special that you see come up or tickets go on sale for a personal development seminar, I would highly recommend that you take advantage of that opportunity to learn and to grow. So this seminar is one that I would definitely recommend. I came back, they gave us these little notebooks to fill out and to take notes in, and my notebook is like more than halfway filled out, just chock full of all of these notes. And so my heads up and disclaimer here is that there is no possible way that we could sum up 4 days of learning in 1 hour, 45 minute of a webinar. But we're going to do our best to kind of share with you guys some of the things that stood out to each one of us. So I am going to let Tracy start. And I'll have Tracy give a short little introduction so you guys can get to know her, because this is her first time speaking to you guys from a Team Forward Fitness webinar standpoint. So I'm sure you guys have seen her post on the page. You know that she's a rock star coach. She's someone who kind of came in here and just has, from day one, killed it and done everything that she has been given the advice to do, just really put in the effort and the time and the work. And I've been nothing but impressed with her. And it was such an honor to share a room with her this weekend and get to know her even better. So you guys are in for a treat. Now, grab a piece of paper, a notebook, and a pen so that you guys are taking notes as well during this seminar, during this webinar here, because you guys are going to especially need it. I'm going to ask you guys some questions and have you guys write down some things when it's my turn. But I will have it pass over to Tracy. So Tracy, if you want to take it from here.
All right. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Okay, awesome. So I just want to do a quick introduction. My name is Tracy, and I became a coach, I think, in January. So it's been about 9 months. I am a mom of 4, I am a wife, and I have 2 other jobs on top of this, so I am proof that if this is a priority in your life, that it is possible. And this is a huge priority in my life, and so I make it possible to work with being a mom of 4, being a wife, and working 2 jobs. One thing that I was surprised with going to this seminar was not just the learning aspect of it, like the business part, but how many breakthroughs that I would have personally outside of the business aspect. So I had a lot of life breakthroughs and aha moments, and that alone is worth going to a seminar if you don't even have the business added on top of it. So I'm going to share my screens. I only have a couple of slides. Let me see. And we'll go ahead and jump in. All right, can you guys see that? Awesome, and I'm going to go ahead and take this down because that's actually distracting to me to see myself and you guys. So I'm going to take that down. All right, but you can still hear me. Okay, so one of the things that stood out to me was necessity. He went over necessity and what it was, but my interpretation of it was really within the Beachbody world is our why we do things. So necessity, yes, because I'm someone who will Google words to make sure that my definitions are correct, and I did Google necessity, and it means something that is required. And so I thought, okay, well, what is required in life? Well, a necessity in our life is we have to have oxygen to breathe, right? We have to have water and food. Those things are necessities in order to live, or we would die. So that's really our why that stood out to me is why do we do this business? But before I get down there, before I skip too much ahead, as a coach for me, I feel like the necessities in this business are the 4 vital behaviors. And like I said, our why. Those are necessities to building a successful business. So we know that the 4 vital behaviors are invite, personal development, proof the product works, and then the one they just added, I believe this year, is recognition. And if we don't have these necessities to our business, we will not grow a business. And I'm sure even Brigida can testify that even at the point she is at in her business, she is still doing these things because she is still wanting her business to grow and she's still wanting herself to grow. And so for me personally, my whys are, and guys, I realize that these whys have to be so big and so deep that it literally, in my opinion, it creates emotion. It creates feelings. It can create crying. Anything that creates emotion, in my opinion, is a deep enough why. And I do think there's levels and degrees of that, though. So for me personally, my son was always saying, Mom, is today work day? Mom, is today work day? Are you going to work? What are you doing? And it started to really bother me, especially to see how it affects him. I'm so, like, this morning when I got him off to school, Mom, is today work day? And he just means like outside of the home. And I told him, no, today we'll be home and then we'll go to the gym later because I also teach. But to him, going to the gym and working Beachbody is not work. Seeing me leave the house and working outside the house is work. And so that has struck a chord with me. I don't want him to say that anymore. I don't want him to say, is today work day? Are you leaving? And so that drives me. I want to get out of debt. I want freedom financially. I want the freedom to take vacations when I want to. Great thing about this business is you can work it from anywhere. And I want more time with my family. My why for helping others is I really want to equip and empower other women to feel the way that I have felt through Beachbody and what it has to offer. I want to teach them to take control of their lives. Another big one, if you look at this photo at the bottom middle, this might actually seem kind of depressing to you guys, but that photo motivates me. It brings tears to my eyes, and it really puts fire in my soul. I use that to motivate me for a few reasons. One, I would love to adopt, and I want to adopt outside of the country. And I even have it down to race and everything like that. And so those 2 photos remind me of children that are supposed to come into my family. I even know how many. It's supposed to be 2, and I feel like it's supposed to be 2 boys. 2 kids that are waiting for me to get my act together to build this business so that I can bring them into my family. So when I think this business is too hard or I just don't feel like doing it, I look at those children and I imagine the children that are supposed to be in my family and how it's going to make them feel when I have to face them and say, sorry guys, sorry it took mommy 5 years to get her crap together, but you just weren't important enough, So I keep those photos there to remind me that I've got babies that need to come into my family. The other one is just a girl that says broken, and on her shirt it says okay. As a coach, it is not my responsibility to fix people. I've learned that. But I can help women become okay. And if I can do that in this job, I feel like that is enough to take broken women and help them to be okay. That's what I want to do. The other photo is a photo of me when I was sick with cancer and my daughter. And that just kind of reminds me of my health, where I once was in life. I didn't have my health. And so why do I do this business? Well, because it keeps me accountable to my own health. I have to be the example. But that also reminds me that I do have a story to share with others. And then, of course, the center photo, which is the biggest one to me, is Christ. And so when I'm having like a pity party or thinking, I just can't do this, this is just too hard, I look at that and I think, no. What is hard? What was hard was Christ being crucified, having nails driven into his arms and wrists and feet, wearing a crown of thorns. That was hard. So that puts things into perspective for me. And so I know it might seem really depressing to other people, but that motivates me. And so it kind of, and then of course there's just a photo off to the right. It's my family. My family is my huge why. They are why I do this every single day, why I get out of bed and why I'm motivated. And so I just put, you know, to me, these are deep whys and these bring emotion to me. And I think that revisiting that why every day is vital. It's been key for me. That is actually a photo that is in my office right off to the right of my computer, so that when I'm sitting at my desk looking at my computer, I can glance over. It's a constant reminder of some of my bigger, deeper whys as to why I am coaching. And just quickly with personal development, I've just really realized that personal development is a huge game changer, game changer in our business. And I realized that our business can only match where we're at with personal development, and that our actions are a direct reflection of our mindset. That is something that I really noticed. My actions are a direct reflection of my mindset. And in order to get my mind right, I have to do personal development through books or spiritually. So that's the necessity, in my opinion, what necessity is in this business, which is just the why. We'll go ahead and take it over to honoring your priorities is one thing we went over. And he had us rate, you know, when something comes up, we have to rate it from a 1 to a 10. 1 being the lowest on our priority list, 10 being the highest, which is like a must do. We have to do this. And if it's anything below a 5, he said, don't even entertain the thought. Like, don't even waste your time even thinking about it. And so something that we can think of, these are questions we can ask ourselves as we are setting priorities for our business and in life, is it planned? Was it on your schedule? Was it in your calendar? And if something does come up, will this something take away from your priorities that was planned already in your calendar? I live off of calendars. I have several calendars. And if it's not in my calendar, I'm most likely not going to do it because I function better this way. And I used to think it was a bad thing that I was so rigid like this, but I realized my life just goes so much smoother. And it's okay it's okay to say no. It is absolutely okay to say no. The second one, do you own it? So as coaches, things come up. A personal sponsored coach could come to us with a problem and want us to fix it. Do we own that problem? No. So we can't take on that responsibility, right? And I think by trying to fix a PS coach's issue, we're actually enabling them and then setting the bar and the tone to say, you know what, next time you have a problem, you just come to me because I'm going to take care of it for you. So we really need to ask ourselves, do we own this problem in our business, in our lives? I know we all have family. You know, someone needs a last minute babysitter and you're like, crap, I scheduled 3 hours of block time right here just to work and she wants me to babysit. What do? Well, prioritize it. Do you own this problem? No. Do you feel that it is right? So this is kind of where, you know, I like how Brigida says we all have an internal compass. Everyone calls it something different. I call it the spirit. Some people might call it the universe. That gut feeling, that intuition, it's really all the same. We just call it different things. We are born with that. We have a given right to that. And we know when something comes up, does it feel right? Yes or no? If no, don't even add it to your list. Don't do it. Is there a real need? Now, okay, so some of that got cut off. It's supposed to say, is there a real need now? And for this one, it's just more about like deadlines. If someone gets to you with a deadline, it's normally pushed up, and you can say, well, what's the actual deadline? What is the absolute last day that you need this? I know sometimes, we might get this in church. We might get this from a spouse. My husband has been texting me about finances and scheduling and doing all that, and I just realized that can hold. I can put a hold on that. He doesn't need my response right now, and I will respond to him after I do this webinar. So just knowing, is there a real need, and when is that need, and when is it needed by? Is this a passion? So something that I am so guilty of is wanting to take on a lot of stuff, and I realize I'm actually going to have to start going through my life and everything and cutting things out. So there's a lot of good things out there, and we're going to be asked to participate, or we're going to want to participate. But we need to ask ourselves, is this a passion? And is this thing moving me closer to my goals and my dreams, regardless if it's good and it makes me think of the good, better, and best? There's lots of good things out there. There's lots of better things out there. But is it the best thing for you to do right now to move you closer to your goals? Another one he said was, will this help you grow? So in our business, obviously personal development, no wonder it's a vital behavior, right? Because we need that to grow. We need that to grow as a leader. We need it to grow our business. And like with the seminar that I was invited to go to with Brigida, I had to take away, I think we both took 5-6 days away from our family, and there was a little bit of an expense in that. But I knew that the seminar would far outweigh the short-term sacrifice that I had to make. So it was totally worth going because I knew that the growth that would come with it would be worth it in the end. So that's a question to ask yourselves. The other one is, will this help you lead? Obviously we lead teams, we lead our families. And actually just kind of went into kind of with the growing and the leading thing. Is it worth it? Is it going to help you grow and become a better leader? And if it will, then do it. With doing this webinar that Brigida asked me to do with her, I didn't have to do it. I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do, but I saw value in it because I know that as I learn things, learning it is one thing, but then learning it and teaching it is a completely different thing. So when we can learn something and then teach it, I feel that we are then able to lead, if that makes sense. And so I knew that this would help me be a better leader because not only did I have to go back through my notes and really think about what I learned, but now I get to teach it, which makes me a stronger leader. Okay. Let me go ahead, my last slide, and then I will be done. The ladder of productivity. This really stood out to me. Hang on, let me just grab. For a few reasons. I don't want to spend too much time on impulsive desire because we really don't want to be there at all. So this is literally a ladder from the impulsive desire being at the very bottom to destiny thinking being at the very top. Okay, sorry, I had to find my paper. Obviously, the higher up the ladder we go, the bigger I feel like the reward. That's why I put that little ladder there with the tree of the apples at the very top. You have to climb higher to get a bigger reward at the end. So level 1, impulsive desire. This is when we just feel like it. This is a weak feeling. This is a feeling that comes and goes. Well, maybe I feel like coaching today. I guess. I don't know. Maybe I want to coach. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I'll check into my groups. It's just an impulsive desire, and that is we actually do not want to be there as coaches and really in life. Well, except for fun. That can be impulsive. Having fun can be impulsive, I think. So we really don't want to give this level of the ladder too much attention. The next level, and I really think that no one can build a successful business at that level of the ladder, being at the very bottom. So the next level is the second level, internal standard. This is a standard that we put on ourselves, and this is something that we need to have a higher standard on ourselves than what people expect from us. And something that I've realized is our lives, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear it unless you've already accepted this as fact, as reality, but our lives are a direct reflection of our internal standards. That could be our income, and everyone's standard is different, so don't take this as a negative way. Everyone's standards are different, and as long as you're okay with that standard, then that's all that matters. But our income is a direct reflection, our families, our marriage, our business, hitting Success Club, all of this is internal standards we have set on ourselves, and we will live up to that. And that's good to be at. There's nothing wrong to be there, especially starting off as a coach. And then we have level 3, which is the external demand. This is things like deadlines that we talked about earlier, obligations. Who's counting on us? Our families, our spouses, our children, our support groups that we run online. Who's counting? This is the external demand. It's the pressure, the social pressure that's put on us. It is actually a good thing that I realized that I used to actually think was a bad thing. But it's actually a good thing because it makes us more productive. This is accountability. And this is a good place to be as well. But the one I want to really spend time on is the last one, destiny thinking. Because I feel like as a coach, this is the thinking that I have. And I feel like that this is why I have so much confidence. Of course, other things play into it. But this is a huge thing for me. This is where, in my opinion, we really need or want to be. I know this is where I need to be in this business. I do this, I coach because I know I'm supposed to be doing this. I know without a doubt that this is part of my plan. And I like to actually call it a calling in my life, or it could be one of my purposes. I used to think that the only calling I was going to have was being a mom and being a wife. And although those are very important callings, I've now realized that we can have more than one or two callings. And I believe that this is one of my callings. So it helps when I put this into perspective that if I'm doing the work and I'm putting the effort into this, I don't need to stress about the outcome. One, because I trust the process. I know it works. But I just know that if I do the work and the effort, that God is going to bless it, however that looks, but I have to work and I have to bust my butt. This is also a feeling of we have to. We have to do this. It also can be a little bit of an obligation feeling. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to others. When I think about like inviting and stuff like that, I used to feel like I was bugging people. And I used to hate the whole being rejected. And if you have issues with being rejected, you really need to read Go for No. It will change your whole perspective on people telling you no and that you're really not being rejected. And so because I've done personal development, because I've read books, I now have a different perspective, which is when I send an invite to someone, I send it with the intention of, you need this in your life and I am doing you a favor, because it's changed my life so much that is not my perspective. I don't feel like I'm hounding people. And when people don't respond, I just think, okay, well, I'll get you later. Or how sad, because I'm doing you a favor. And so when we shift that perspective, it just isn't an issue anymore, right? We don't fear rejection. We don't fear no. So I would really read that book, is Go for No. For sure, read that. So let's see. One thing he did talk about, which I kind of took it and put my own little twist on it, because I did understand and grasp what he was trying to say, but it just means a little bit different to me, is he says you need to tie your identity into really your productivity. And how I took it was, my identity, my ultimate true identity is I am a daughter of God, but I also have other identities. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a group fitness instructor. I am a daughter. I am a beach body coach. I own that identity. It's in my bones. It's who I am now, and it's part of me. And so I think that owning that makes a huge difference versus, oh, I don't know. I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I want to do this. I just don't know. We've got to own it. Yes, this is who I am. This is what I am, and it is part of my identity. That has really helped me for sure. And that's just the ultimate goal. I do want to say this, and if you don't have that, it's totally okay. I didn't have it from the very get-go. I always knew kind of deep down inside that this was it. This is what I've been praying for. This is the thing that I needed in my life. But I also know not everyone feels that way. And I truly do believe with internal standard and external demand that you can build a successful business. I just think that if we can understand and own it and reach that destiny thinking of this is just part of who I am, this was just part of my plan, I know it's going to work, and have that confidence in that, I just kind of feel like that's where the magic happens and takes place, just from what I've seen and heard from other coaches and what I feel in my own heart for me. So that is it, Brigida. I am done. I will stop sharing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I will come over. Go ahead and, I don't know if I can hear you. But thank you so much. And it's perfect. I am going to go ahead and let me pull up because I want you guys to watch this video here. So let me pull it up and I'll do a screen share as well. I hope you guys have your notes out because I'm going to ask you guys to write down a few questions here. And so you're going to need your paper if you do not already have it out. Okay, you guys can see my screen okay? Thumbs up if you can. Yes. Okay, so this is, we had like a guest speaker. So we had Brendon Burchard speaking, but then we had some guest speakers. And one of them was this man named Robin Sharma. And I had never heard of him before. And it was one of the most impactful things for me. And I think a lot of times as coaches, it's really easy to get kind of lost in the seemingly insignificant task that we have as coaches, you know, in commenting on people's Facebook posts or commenting on challenge group posts, and it feels like, I've even had one time a person message me and say, like, I just feel like I'm cleaning up other people's messes, or that other people are like dumping their problems on me, and instead of like, I don't know, and they would just kind of label the activities that they were doing as a Beachbody coach in such a negative light, and just kind of lost the sense of purpose of what they were doing. And I don't know if any of you guys have felt that way as a coach, or if you're sitting there thinking like, oh, this isn't like all sunshine and rainbows every single day that I'm doing this, and sometimes it's hard. And I just wanted to share a little perspective in this video. So this is Robin Sharma in the hat. He has a hat on, and he's traveled all around the world. And so he traveled to this country, let's see if he says where it's not, in Africa, and he walked into this airport, and he walked into the bathroom, and this man met him and said, "Welcome to my office." And totally took Robin by surprise and was like, "What?" And this man was just big smile and was like, "Welcome to my office. This is my office." And it was a janitor. And so he filmed this little video with this man, and I just wanted to share it with you guys really quick.
You might remember Arun Jabulani from videos that I show at the League with Other title presentations around the world. I walked into the restroom at the Johannesburg airport that he runs, and he said, "Welcome to my office."
Yeah, always, Baba.
And he's a perfect example of what leadership is about. Why? Because you love what you do, right?
Yeah, I love what you do. I'm not actually what I do. I love what I do.
This man is real success.
Yeah.
So it's great to see you after, I think, 3 years.
Maybe though.
What do you have for all my followers on Facebook who want to lead without a title?
Yeah, whatever you do, no matter what you are doing, if it's you must always, no matter what you do, even me in my office, I'm proud of my office and I love my office. So no matter what you do, spirit, Baba, more fire, put more fire.
That's what it's all about. The world needs more heroes like Arun Line.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the clip that they showed, but it was the only one that I could get. And so I still wanted to pull it up, but it was so fun. Like in this video, and he doesn't have it on his Facebook page or YouTube because it's probably protected for him to use it in his speeches that he does. But this man is like, "Welcome to my office," and he took so much pride in taking care of this bathroom and cleaning the toilets and cleaning the urinals. And Robin's like, "You just seem so proud and so happy." And he's like, "I am. Like, I love what I do. I love what I do." And he has this big smile and he goes, "I just see people from all around the world. And I know when they come into this bathroom, I get to give them the first experience that they..." Okay, I need to make sure everyone's muted. If everyone can... Okay, here we go. I can see what it is. All right. But he says everybody will come in and he gets to be the first experience that they have of Africa and coming into his bathroom. And he takes great pride in taking care of it. And he says he wakes up every single day with passion to get up and do his work and to go into his office and to make it the best office possible for people to come in and have that experience of, "This is the best bathroom I have ever been in, the most tidy and clean and pristine bathroom I have ever been in." And his intention and his goal is to help every single person leave that bathroom uplifted and better, and like with a smile on their face, even if they're just laughing at him for him saying, "Welcome to my office." And I just thought, man, this is a guy who gets it. This is a guy who sees what it's really all about. And I'm gonna pull up my things. I've got a couple things here. So that's one of the things that stood out to me so much, because here's the thing, guys, if you hate, quote unquote, hate something that you have to do every day, it is not the activity that has the issue. It is your lack of personal development, it is your attitude, and it is your approach. Because you don't draw meaning out of activities. The activities, there's nothing wrong with that. It is the activity, the meaning that you had given that activity. So can you give it a different meaning? Can you see, like, what I get to be here and uplift people? Brittany, you keep coming unmuted, so make sure you don't unmute. We can hear your baby. So make sure that you are giving this meaning of what's really happening here, guys. When someone joins your challenge group, what's going on? Like, are they just checking in and posting a photo of Shakeology and you're sitting there thinking, "Oh my gosh, if I see one more kissy Shakeology face of a person kissing a Shakeology cup, I'm gonna like shoot myself." I've been there. I've been annoyed with, like, I can only see so many people kissing their Shakeology cup, but instead being like, these are people who are getting this dense nutrition in their body. I know that they're going to feel good, and I get to hold them accountable to something that is changing in their life. I get to see people come alive. I get to see people who are now waking up to the potential that has always been within them that they didn't know was there. You know, like, what meaning are you giving your life? The activities that you have as a mom or as someone in whatever profession that you're doing, as a Beachbody coach. I mean, this is for your life. So that was one of the things that really stood out to me. He gave us these questions to help for you to put your mind in that right perspective And these are questions that he says he asks himself every day to keep it fun. So you can ask yourself, what can I be excited about today? You know, when you're looking at your challenge groups, thinking about your day, all the people that you get to reach out to and connect with, the posts that you're going to be making, think of, what can I be excited about today? Write that out. Think about that. Dwell about it. And think in your heart, like, I'm so freaking excited for this to happen. Like, where you feel that, like, feeling of Christmas in your heart, and you're just like, I'm so excited about this. Also ask yourself, okay, what today could possibly derail me? Like, if you're being proactive about it so that you can create some safeguards per se, or create a strategy to address it, then you can be in control, be living in intention, and not just be caught off guard and be like, whoa, you know? So create that intention in your mind of, how am I going to respond? Like, okay, I know I'm going to be getting on a call with my mother today, and in the past, I have felt this way after calls with my mother. So what do I want to feel? And be proactive about that, and keeps you in that state of living in an intention. And I loved this last question. Who can I surprise today? Like, think about that. Guys, life is too freaking short to just be going through the motions and just be like, check, check, check. I got everything done on my to-do list. Like, what can you do to shake things up a little bit and kind of surprise people? You know, it was a very funny thing to see Brendon Burchard perform and stand up there on stage, and he would like say the most like random things, and he'd be like, yes, my friends dared me to say booby trap galore. Like, he would just have these funny phrases, and he'd be like, so-and-so challenged me to say that somehow in my speech today. And it just like would catch everyone off guard, and we'd all laugh. And I just like, this is a guy who's having fun, who really has lived what he's preaching to us of, who can I surprise today? You know, who can you make laugh? Who can you make be like, you know, snap out of their autopilot life and be like, this is funny, you know, and just have some fun with it. So I really liked those questions. Now, here's where I want you guys to pull out your pen and paper. So I want you guys to take a minute, and literally you're going to do this. Don't just go through the motions. I can see you. But I want you to take a moment, kind of pause, and think of somebody that you admire. You know, someone who has influenced you for the better in your life. It can be a mentor. It can be a grandparent. It can be, you know, that old high school math teacher who you still remember some of the things that they said. It can be a parent, a sibling, a cousin, anyone. And I want you to think down and write down, what are 3 things that they taught you? Like 3 pieces of the advice that they have given you. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to write. I'm going to literally give you 2 minutes. And I want everyone to think of 3 pieces of advice that you have gathered from somebody in your life that you admire. Go ahead and write that down. 3 pieces of advice. Put some Enya on in the background for you. All right. So you've got 3 things that have stood out to you, pieces of advice that you gathered from the significant person in your life. Now I want you to think of a struggle that you're facing currently in your life. So everybody's working through things you're dealing with, you know, is it, I'm really feeling frustrated about this in my business, or I'm having a hard time in this relationship in my life, or I'm not feeling a certain way that you want to feel. Take a minute and write down something that you're struggling with. This should come easy for everyone. You know what your issues are. I can't see everybody, but everyone kind of have that problem that you're kind of working through in your own mind. Now, I want you to think of your life and everything that you've been through. And if you were to give yourself 10 years ago 3 pieces of advice, what would you give yourself? Like, what have you learned in the last 10 years that you can think of, man, I wish I had known this 10 years ago? What 3 things would you tell yourself in advice to yourself 10 years ago? Okay, do you guys have those 3 things? Now, I want this to be separate things, but what piece of advice would you give other people right now? Like overall, just what are some of the 3 best pieces of advice that you would give? It doesn't have to be anything huge and elaborate. It can be the golden rule, it can be anything, you know, what are 3 pieces of advice that you would give somebody else? Can I have those things down? I'll go ahead and share with you guys my things that I had written down. And if you're still writing, you kind of tune me out if you want. One of the people that I thought of that was most influential was my grandma Ray. And 3 things that she taught me is, she said, you only talk about yourself. And she said, so, you know, if I say I don't like this person, what I'm really saying is I don't like myself when I'm around that person. She said, you're always talking about yourself. So if you can see something negative in someone else, it's because you can identify it in you. Or if you like something in someone else, it's because you can see that goodness within you too. She said, you're only ever talking about yourself. So it's always interesting if I hear someone say something, I'm like, they're talking about themselves here, not that other person that they're putting that on. And I catch myself in that too. But that was significant for me. My grandma Ray was known for saying, I can do hard things. And she had a hard things club. So I wrote that down. I can do hard things. She also was really big on how there's two energies within us. And she loved the story of the two wolves. And many of you guys have probably heard this story, but it's a little poem or whatnot of a little boy who is talking to his grandfather. And the grandfather says, son, there are two wolves within each one of us. And one wolf is good and one is bad. And one of us wants to help other people. One of us that other wolf wants to, destroy. And they're both fighting for nutrition. They're both fighting for you to win. And the little boy asks, which wolf wins? And the grandfather says, the one that you feed. And I'm sure I butchered the story, but it was always significant to me that she talked about that we have a choice, and we can have that choice to nurture the goodness in us or to neglect it. And so, paying attention to that. Advice I give myself would be save more money. This is 10 years ago. Tell myself, save more money. Take care of your health. Do personal development. What advice do I give other people many times? Therapy is a must. Therapy is a must. It's not a negotiable thing. You have energy that has been stored in you that you need to release because it's holding you back. One of my other pieces of advice is to work harder on yourself than you do anything else. And the other one, it's just always been significant to me, and that's why the team is called the What It Is, but is to always keep moving forward. That no matter how you feel, you take a step forward. Even if you're crawling, you're walking, you're running, you don't give up. You move forward and find a way to take a step forward. And so you guys are welcome to write those down. I would encourage you to write those down. But I want you to close your eyes. And I can see you. So close your eyes. And just take that deep breath. And I want you to think about your biggest problem that you're facing. I want you to open your eyes and look at your list. You have at least 9 things that you've written down that are pieces of advice. Plus, I just gave you 9 more. Is your problem, the answer to that, listed in any of those things that you wrote down? Any of the pieces of advice that you've heard from someone significant in your life, the things that you would give yourself as advice, the things that you would give other people as advice, I would strongly suggest that the very issue that you can sense is holding you back right now is solved by what you already know. And I just feel that that's very significant. It was significant for me because the answers are all within. And that's just a powerful exercise for you to learn that you know what to do. All of the answers to every single situation that's going to come up in your life, you have the answers for. And I think that there's a skill that we can develop in closing our eyes and meditating and being self-reflective and saying, what is my biggest problem right now? What is holding me back from my highest potential? And closing your eyes and saying, what is the answer? And writing down the solution. I think so often we talk to friends, we do all these different things when we know what to do. We know what advice to give ourselves. And so I just encourage you guys, if you're struggling with something, there's something that you feel is holding you back. They say common knowledge is not common practice, but you don't have to do that. Take action. Do the thing that you're advising yourself to do 10 years ago, or that you would advise other people to do, or that someone has already told you to do. And listen to that advice. So that was a powerful experience for me. And we are totally running out of time, so I'm going to have to do a video about this thing because I do want to kind of touch base on this. And it's something that was said multiple times in this seminar, and it's that you are a generator. You are a powerful creator, far more powerful than I think you give yourself credit for. And I want you to identify that a generator doesn't have energy. A generator doesn't have motivation. It doesn't have positivity. It doesn't have this. It creates it. And you guys all are powerful creators. That you have the ability to create momentum, to create energy, to create excitement and motivation. I hear so many people who say, I'm just not motivated. I'm like, create it. Why aren't you creating it then? You create it. You don't have it. You are a generator. If you're not motivated, create it. If you're not passionate and if you're not excited, you're not happy, create it. You don't have it. And I think that unknowingly, you have taken actions to create those very things in the past. And because you maybe weren't aware of what activities that you did to create it, you don't know how to recreate it. But I want you to know that you did something. You did something to create all of those feelings that you have liked in the past. And so again, even if you're being self-reflective and think of, when was I the happiest in my life? What was the happiest time of my life? And think about that. Go back to that time and that experience and live that again. And then ask yourself, what was I doing? What was I doing at that time to create that? Because you did create that. And that means you have the ability to create it again. Life doesn't happen to you. You create it. You are the creator of your life. You are not a victim to your life. Okay? And the other significant thing I want to talk about is this experience that, again, it was from Robin Sharma. And he shared how, again, he was on travels and how he was in Italy. And he was staying in this beautiful, wonderful hotel. And he asked for some room service to come up. And he had some pastries, and on this dish were some lemons. And he showed a photo of it, and I've been looking all over for it, and I can't find it, but he showed this photo of the lemons, and they were cut beautifully, and they were de-seeded. Somebody took the time to de-seed the lemon wedge. And he talks about how significant that was, that here's this country that takes such pride in mastering the small little simple things that may seem insignificant to so many people. Because who's going to see that lemon wedge? Who? And does it really matter? It matters to the person who put that and took the time to de-seed the lemon wedge and put it on that plate in such a beautiful display of, I take pride in what I'm doing. Guys, are you de-seeding a lemon wedge in your business? Are you de-seeding the lemon wedge in your life and in your relationships? Or are you throwing things together in a messy way and not taking pride for what you're creating and saying, I am the master of this and I'm going to masterfully put this together? You talked about how with the Apple products and how, and I'm totally drawing a blank on the creator of all Apple things, but how he signed the hoverboard little thing of the Apple Mac computer before it was released. And people asked, why did you sign that? And he says, because all artists sign their masterpieces. And how he took such pride in that, and how he wanted it to be beautiful on the outside and aesthetically pleasing, but beautiful on the inside too. And so aesthetically pleasing that people would look at it and cry. And people would say, why does it matter? Why does it matter if the inside is so beautiful? No one's going to see it. And he said, we are going to see it. We will see it. You guys know what to do to move your business forward. You know how to turn this into a masterpiece. Are you doing it? Are you taking the time to de-seed the lemon wedge and do the little things that are going to make you proud of what you've created? Are you taking the time to really invest in people and show them, I care about you? Or are you just thinking, great, got 2 successful points? Are you taking the time to invest in people and leave them better than you met them? Taking the time to say, I am proud of what I have. This is my office. Welcome to my office. And I'm excited and passionate, and I'm creating that every day to wake up and say, I am proud of what I have created. I have de-seeded this lemon wedge so that even if I'm the only one who sees this, I am proud. I am proud that of who I am, even if nobody else knows what I'm doing behind the scenes to make this beautiful on the inside, I know. And that influences my confidence. That affects how proud I am of what I'm doing. And it affects the passion that I have when I wake up each day to do this business. So I just wanted to share those things with you guys. Those are some of the most significant things that I walked away with. So I 100% walked away with a commitment of I get to step things up. I get to step up and do better and work harder, not just in my business, but in my life, with my relationships, with the people who I'm around and who have entrusted in me. And I'm going to de-seed the lemon wedge. I'm going to make sure that if there's anything that I want, I realize I'm going to create it. I don't have that. I am going to create it. And recognize that those answers to any situation and any problem that I may have are within. I can look in and say, what advice, what have I learned, and how can I apply that in my life? So anyways, those are big things. I can tell you guys there's so many things that I was like, oh my gosh, I've got a list of videos I want to make and address different things that were so significant and were shared that are powerful. And I just encourage you guys, you invest in yourself. You go to seminars like this. I know some of them are pricey. This was a pricey seminar to go to. But there are other ones that I've attended that were only $500